Tomorrow, it is April 22nd, 4:36 p.m. And before I go out and enjoy the rest of my day, my evening, I'm gonna make this watch list video. I actually wasn't gonna do it because I've been enjoying the weekend. New York, the weather got really good today, and it was good yesterday. So I'm just been enjoying myself. About to go enjoy my evening, but I wanted to make a video. Looking at plays. I didn't spend a ton of time looking at stocks. Probably could have spent a little more time, but I found a couple. So I'm just gonna go over these really quickly. I had to reset all my charting yesterday because I don't know what happened with Thinkorswim, but every time I logged in, the screen would freeze with whatever chart was on it. I couldn't do anything, not in my computer. I had to reset it, so I literally had to uninstall Thinkorswim, reinstall Thinkorswim, and reset everything. So I did that. So that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about tomorrow. So first stock I got up is BSTC. The reason why this is on my watch list is because, let me pull up the 30-day 5-minute chart here. I mean, wow, look at this. This was at 0.25 cents. Now it's at 15 cents. People who are smart enough to buy at this range are probably made an insane amount of money buying this. Now, the reason why this stock is up, because Bitcoin is running again. So if you notice on Twitter, everybody's talking about all the cryptocurrencies are running. So if tomorrow you continue to see a run with cryptocurrency, expect this stock to move. Now, if we pull up the 1-year chart, last year, this stock, first they had a run to 20 cents, then crashed back to 6. But when all the Bitcoin craziness happened, this thing went all the way up to 63 cents. Now, do I think it's gonna go back there? Probably not. But it'd be interesting if I think it could potentially get back to this 18-20 cent level. So tomorrow, watch the open. You might get a lot of strong volume, and this thing might move somewhere there. I mean, there is overhead resistance at 15 cents, so be careful. But I think if it could break it, this may potentially test 20 cents tomorrow. Not saying that it will, but if all the hype around Bitcoin is there tomorrow, then expect this to move tomorrow. So let me just pull up. So if right now, it hit 15 cent, pulled back, and let me pull that up again. Let me pull up that 1-year chart just to call out. Look, why it pulled back? Because look, you had overhead resistance in this 15 cent level. See, that's why you always gotta map out. You gotta look at the daily, and you gotta see where overhead resistance is. Look, and it's not just there. Look at this. There's a ton of resistance here. So look at this. All this resistance all here. All right? You got to always look at that overhead resistance. So if it could break and hold 15, there's no reason why this thing can't run to 20 cents tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. So with that said, these are the 3 consolidation areas that, I mapped out. So 15.33, 12.89, and 11.37. You see, all I did was just look for the areas of consolidation, map my lines for potential buys. Like, obviously, you're not gonna be able to short this. I mean, you probably could if you have Centerpoint or maybe Interactive Brokers. E-Trade, you can't short anything under $1, so that's not even an option. But I'd be curious to see if it held 11 cents. I mean, you could potentially buy a dip, risking the previous day's close price, which was 11 cents, and just see how far this can go up if this pulls back. But if it could break and hold 15 cents, I think this thing could run to 20 cents tomorrow. I mean, you can do well. But this is all predicated on whether or not, Bitcoin is up tomorrow. So if all the Bitcoins are up, everything's running, everybody's hyping it, I think tomorrow you could see a run to 20. So, if it holds 11, if it or above 12.89 or 13 cents, you could take it long, risking your price target could be that 15 cent level. If it breaks and holds it, man, this thing could run to 20. So see how it's moving pre-market and how it reacts at the open. All right, next up, CLF. CLF, it's a stock that runs up and down like a channel. So I'll just put up the 1-year chart first just so you can see. So every time the stock gets to about this $8 level, between $8 and $9, it has big pullbacks. So, me personally, I'm looking to short this. I want to see how it reacts. So if it could break above $8 tomorrow, look at all this consolidation here at this 8, sort of like this 8.20 level. So if it can't hold in this 8.20 level, I would look to see this like get rejected, and then it'd be a great short. Because this thing, when it tanks, it tanks hard. you know, it has these few days where it hits spikes and then it just tanks. So definitely keep an eye out on that. You know, I got a, you know, it's 825 level. I'd be curious to see how it responds to this level up here. If I was to be very specific, you know, right here at this 811 level. See, 811 is the low here. 812 is the low here. So right in that key level, I would look to see how it's going to respond. You know, but if it pulls back and held 750, you could potentially dip by it and see if it's going to test that $8 again. You know, and then you have another key level here, 769, 778, and then 803. But again, if this breaks 803 and holds it, you know, look for that overhead resistance where it's going to get rejected. And I think this then breaks back below 8, because this a stock that never holds. It runs and then it tanks. All right. Next up is Snap. Snap was up 2%. I think if you hover over this, it'll tell you like how many weeks it's been up or down. Let me see. Sometimes I get it to work. That's not working right now. Yeah. All right. So, you know, it's been, you know, Snap, I think this is a company that's not going to be around in 5 years. I mean, with Instagram, I just don't know how it lasts. Once they really get, you know, really understand the filters better, then there's really no need for Snapchat. At least I don't think so. I don't know. But that's just my guess. Now, you know, you know, pre-market, it started from 14. It hit a high 1542, and it dipped back, you know, kind of like consolidated here at this 1518 level, hit a lower high, hit 1538, and now it's holding 1513. So I'd be curious to see if it breaks above 1542. I would potentially take it long, risking that. But you know, if it can't hold this 1513 level, I think it'd be a great short back below 14. If we look at the 1 year chart, you know, it has a lot of this overhead resistance. Right here, this consolidation level 1563, if you notice here, right? But if it can hold above that level, you know, that breakout of the high, you know, I think you could potentially take it long. Just be careful. You know, you got that overhead consolidation here. You know, it's really choppy. It has gaps to fill above, but I don't think it, at least personally, I don't think it's going to get back there. I mean, every time it gaps up, it pulls back. You know, it had higher lows here, but then it got here, but it hasn't got back to the low of $11. So, here, let me pull it back up. Yeah, so if it held 1542, you could take it long with a price target of that 15. What did I put? I think it was 1560. Was it 1563? Just be careful here, because you do have some consolidation in this level. See, that's why I mapped it. Actually, 1563, 1565. That's why I mapped it here. Just be careful. Doesn't mean that it can't break it and run, but you see, there's a few times it touches this 1565, so that's a key level. So just be careful at that level. All right. But I think that this thing actually is a better short. If it can't hold 1513, I think this thing gets back to that, you know, 1480, 1470 level. All right. Next up, this is the play that I'm probably gonna be watching the most. XKX Skechers. I don't even know who wears Skechers, but if we look at Skechers, it had this crazy tank from $43, and it found support here at this, you know, 29 level, and it closed. Now, what I like to do is, you guys know me, I trade both long and short. If you watch me on Twitter, I think on Friday I called a long play, nice one for you, and a short play. So, you know, I trade whatever, but I primarily think the edge is in shorting, so I'm more short biased. Now, because this thing has a gap to fill above, I don't know if it's going to fill that gap. I mean, maybe not. But what I love to see tomorrow is this get rejected into one of these key resistance levels for me. So, you know, obviously hit a low of 29.72, 29. What I would be looking to see, if it held it, you could dip by it. Maybe it doesn't break below it. Maybe it starts filling the gap, you know, and it starts riding up. But my guess is tomorrow, right, all these people who are short holding this short are going to cover. So it's going to be a morning spike. So in theory, if it broke above this consolidation level here of 31.73, you could take it long risking off that. But, you know, you just got to be careful, you know, that it doesn't get rejected at $32. You know, there is resistance here. So, you know, I'll be watching that. I didn't map it really well, but there is some overhead resistance here at this 32.43 level. So you can risk 31.73 with a price target of 32.43. That's almost a whole dollar. So, you know, keep that in mind. But at some point tomorrow, this is going to get rejected, and it could be in this area too. and then I want to take a short, risking off one of these rejection areas, you know, because in theory, yeah, could it break 32.43 and keep going, and break above 33.61 and keep going, and but I don't think it's gonna break 35.35 and just fill the gap. I mean, I don't think that I'm gonna see that happening. But what I would love to see tomorrow is test one of these areas and get rejected, and I'm just gonna take it short. It's that simple. I do this is the pattern. This is my favorite pattern. Stocks that are gapping down or had that big red day, looking to short the day after that big red day. You know, so you know, looking at Skechers, you know, it's been on this run, but you know, it has, when it has those red days, it had some big ones. But what's interesting is that when it's had red days, big ones, the day after, it usually has a green day, which is interesting. So, you know, except this day, you know, it had two big red days, and then it had a green day. So it's had a couple of red days in a row, and then it had this crazy tank. So, I mean, I don't expect it to fill the gap, but tomorrow I'm definitely gonna be watching that for a potential short off one of these key levels. All right, next up is RF. RF is up, regional bank. I just put this because it was on a channel. I don't particularly love it. I don't think I'm even gonna trade it, but you can look at it, and it just has these key levels here. It's been in this channel, so I'm curious to see like you know, if it can, you know, there's a lot of overhead resistance at the $19 level. Here, let me put on a big chart. Sorry, guys. I'm really more curious to see, and I didn't map it out well, is how it reacts to 19. Because if you can hold 19, then this could potentially run up to 20. You know, so banks move tomorrow. This may move. You know, that's really why I put it on the watch list. You know, it does have these areas of support here. 1837, 1849, 1856, 1871. So you could see a potential pullback and then a bounce and then a continuation up. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know why I really put it. I'm not really looking to trade it, but I was just curious because of the channel and see if it broke above 19, what it would do. So DRNA. DRNA is another one you should definitely watch for tomorrow. You know, if let's pull up the 1 year first real quick. So this is an interesting stock. You notice this is a 50-day simple moving average. This has been riding this pretty much all the way up from started riding it back in 9/11 of last year, and it kind of been on, except this day it dipped below it just for a second, these 2 days. But in theory, it's been riding it all the way up to, and really broke it back in March 27th of this year. Kind of found its support here at this 868 level, and then it's back up. But look what happens at this $15 level. It gets rejected. So, you know, tempted it. It had this crazy spike. That's why you got to map the overhead resistance. So my strategy is, like, on a stock like this, I'll show you. Let me show you what I would do. So on E-Trade, this is where I actually trade from. This is what my exact look is on E-Trade. So this is what I exactly would have done on a stock like this. This is how I would trade DRNA, right? So on a stock like this is what I do. I see the scanner. I use this one scanner here on E-Trade. It's to me, E-Trade scanners are just as good as trade ideas. What I would have done immediately, let's say I see the stock moving, I click on 1 year, I see where the overhead resistance is, where relation to the stock is. So let's say I would have saw it here like at this 1220 level. Immediately I would have, you know, I click draw, I go to horizontal, I go to horizontal. And then what I immediately do is I map, okay, where's the consolidation areas here? I would have went boom, boom. I would have mapped the higher day and then this level. And then what I immediately do is I go right here, I look at the one, and then I just watch to see how it reacts to those consolidation levels. And then when I see the trend changing, sorry guys, I think froze for a second. But when I see the trend changing, I just go short. So I watch the bid, I watch the ask. Once I see the bid dropping and the wall of sellers coming in, and I see that momentum shifting, I go short. You know, I have my limit order here. I'm just tracking it. You know, right here, I put my amount here. Depends on the amount. Sometimes I'll go big. Sometimes I'll go small. I usually average at 1,000 shares, but sometimes I'll do 5,000. Sometimes I'll do 10,000. It just really depends. You know. And I see my count here to see if I get executed, and that's it. And that's it. I just follow the trade. And that's what I do, guys. And I catch so many stocks because of the scanner. I mean, E-Trade scanners are amazing. They really are really good. I really haven't been paying attention to them since I've been forced to use them. honestly, they're fantastic. And all I use on this, let me just go to the setup. All I do is in the alert. All I do is I have this one. There's so much shit you could do here. It's crazy. But all I just keep it real simple. Let's see, where is it? I do where is it? Oh, I do this. Up for the day, 3% minimum. And then when I go to filters, I just do daily volume, 400,000 shares or greater. That's it. That's it, guys. And the freaking thing just catches stocks. It alerts it right away. It'll alert you right away. And it, it tells you what's up, and you click it because you link everything. So I have it linked so that when I click the chart, you see how it just pulled up the chart. That's how it works. And that's how I find trades. So when you see me post it on Twitter really fast, a lot of times I can't do it fast enough. It's because I'm sneaking trades and I shouldn't be trading. And then like if I try to take a picture on my phone, it just takes too long to load sometimes because of my service and all that. So I try to be as fast as I can just to show you guys that I'm doing this shit in real fucking time. Like I'm in a job with where I'm not supposed to be trading, where everybody's around me, where it's a lot of and I'm doing it, man. And I'm telling you guys, I am no genius. No genius. Trust me when I tell you, and I'm doing it. And it's just simple support and resistance. Don't let these guys fool you and make it all complicated. You don't need all that shit. I'm telling you. So, with that said, guys, just tomorrow, DRNA, because it had this crazy rip and then it had this pullback. Short, there's people that didn't cover their shares that are holding this short thinking, maybe it's going to just tank more. So, what we want to do tomorrow, see how it reacts at the open, where I think, me personally, I'm looking at it to spike and get rejected in one of these levels, and I want to just take it short. This is, to me, like Skechers and this is my two probably top watches so far tomorrow. Unless something pre-market really moves or something at the open I see that's fantastic and simple to short. I'll be watching these. Here is the here are all my levels. So you see, here's the consolidation level, 1329, I'm sorry, 1359, 1327, 1288, 1250. And these are all the areas, all right, that you could potentially go long if it like breaks and holds 1250. But 1288 should be a potential area that you may want to take your profit because it could get rejected there. And each level above is a potential buy, but then you guys got to be careful that the next resistance area could potentially get rejected. So these are all the areas. So me personally, what I would love to see is get gap up and then get rejected into one of these areas, and then I like to take it short, me personally. But if it for some reason consolidated pre-market and broke above 1450, I would take it long. I'm not opposed to going long. So I know that some people think that I don't go long. That's not true. I go long a lot, but I prefer to short. I much prefer to short. The edge to me is in shorting. So DRNA should be on everyone's watch list tomorrow. See what happens at the market open. Oops, sorry, let me go back. Okay, LLNW. All right. Oops, let's pull this up on the big chart. So this is a stock that was, it went from $3 to $5 over the last 5 days. If we put up the 1 year chart, all right, this is one of these slow grinders that's, grinded up last time to $6 before it pulled back and consolidated this $3 level, $3.70 level, and now it's running again. Now the reason why I'm interested in this stock because it has a gap to fill below here at this the high of this candle is 430. So right now it's at this 470 level. So I'm just looking to see how it's gonna react tomorrow at the open. If it can't hold 494, like if it breaks below 494, at the open, if it's kind of consolidating, I'll short risk it because that's so much resistance here that it probably get rejected and then tank, but you got some underhead support. Is 486 level, 470 level, 445. So my expectation tomorrow is that this thing is gonna get rejected in one of these levels and tank. But anything can happen. If it breaks above 525 and holds, I would say you could take it long, risking off 525. I don't think that happens. I think tomorrow is the big tank. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so yeah, so That's what I'm looking at tomorrow. Sorry guys, I got distracted. I was answering a question. All right, next up, SSW, C-SPAN. Now the reason why I'm interested in this stock is because look, it's yearly high. Let me pull up on a big chart for you guys, so I know it's easier. On the daily, 791 is as yearly high. It closed at 79. It's at 776. So let's go further back in time. I want to see. Let's go 10 years. So, you know, 776. I'm sorry, 791 is his high. And you know, it has a gap to fill above here at 967. Now, not to say that it'll get there. It does have some overhead resistance at 840 level. But tomorrow, if this energy's up, oil's up, it's at 790 now. Sorry, if it breaks above 791 and holds, take it long. I mean, take it long. Go for it. You know, there you go. A nice long play for you. You know, if it retests this 790 level and can't break it, go short, risking 790. And then you got, you know, some support here, 766 and 741. You could potentially short it here and cover here, you know, if it held, and if it can't hold that, this shit goes all the way back to $6. So, you know, nice easy play. I just, from a technical standpoint, I just like the way the chart looks, you know, because I'm a technical trader. I don't really focus on news. All right, next up, ASB. Now ASB is on my watch list because it's just a simple. These are the stocks that I don't post a lot, that I make a lot of money off, that nobody pays attention to, because it's just a simple technical chart. For me, it's an easy play. All right, so you know, let me map this out. So I'm looking at really one level. I want to see eventually this is gonna break 25.84, and when it does, I'm just gonna short it, and this thing is gonna get down to that 24.50 level. So what you do, you know, I didn't set any alerts yet. I just made this really fast for you guys, but I'll definitely come back and set alerts. I'll do this one right now because I don't even want to forget. So, this is one of those 5-cent stocks. So, oops, 25.84. So, short, break below 25.84. Or buy the dip because maybe, you know, it holds that, but I don't think it will. I just write just to write it. But I don't really like to short weakness, but this is one case. There's no underhead support. So it's an easy no-brainer. So that's why I'm looking at this. And then, obviously, if it gets and retests at 27.12 and can't hold it, short risking off that. I mean, that's simple play. These stocks I love to trade because it's a simple patterns. Next up, Apple. So I know Apple's a really expensive stock, and I get it, you know. But even if you could afford 100 shares of this, even 50 shares, it's worth the short. Yeah, Thinkorswim has been having a lot of problems where it's the loading. The loading has just been, look at this. This is terrible. This is not my internet. This is just Thinkorswim. It's been really sketchy lately, man. I can't really explain why it does this. Oh God, this is driving me crazy. This is not my internet. This is Thinkorswim. I'm just gonna use this 1 minute chart. I don't know why it's doing this, but all right. Now this is a stock that had this massive tank. If we pull up the oh man, why did I do that? Let's see. Let me put up another. This is just Thinkorswim. It's just been doing this lately. It's been really bad lately. All right. So, okay. All right, here we go. So, this stock has been on a massive panic. Now, you see why I love first red day when a stock has a gap up? Because when you catch a trend, you want to be a trend trader, because look at this. This stock has been in a downward trend ever since. It's gapped up. So, you know, when you catch support, those spikes, so like this day finished red and this day it spiked, and you see if it can't hold the yesterday's low, you just short it and you just keep, look at this, man. It's just crazy. It has a gap to fill above. Now, you know, Apple is obviously a good company, but I don't know what Apple has going on that's going to keep the company keep going higher and higher and higher. I mean, you know, it's done everything it could do with an iPhone. So I don't know what's next for it. I think they're going to try to get into some other businesses because I don't know what's left for Apple. But we'll see. Now, what I want to do tomorrow is now if it breaks above 166.53 and holds, you could take it long. But if it hits that level, it gets rejected, you're short risking off that level. And if it breaks above 166.53 and holds, your next level above is 167 for potential. You know, you could get a couple of points on this. They put 5 minute. So look at these levels. These key levels here are looking potentially either buy the break above or short. off resistance, you know, the rejection of. I don't think tomorrow it gets back up to 172. Now, this week is earnings week, so I don't know if Apple's one of the stocks that having earnings, but a lot of these stocks like Twitter, eBay, a lot of these stocks have earnings this week, so be mindful of that too if you're in one of these plays. I don't think Apple has earnings tomorrow, but that's what I'm looking tomorrow to potentially, you know, buy the break above or short. Me personally, you know me, I like to short into a resistance rejection. So, but man, 50 shares, 100 shares can make you points because these stocks move in points. It's like you get 50 cents in this. You get like 5 points, 6 points. So a lot of people just trade the big stocks and trade 100 share positions because you can make, you know, pretty decent money trading these. All right, so just keep that in mind. You know, has you know, it probably will potentially get back up here, but we'll see. All right, last 3 stocks. I just gave you an array of stocks. Obviously, I don't look at all of these when I'm going to trade, but you know, I'm just giving you an array for you to choose from. Obviously, the manipulation has been insane. I mean, this stock could potentially get halted at some point with all this craziness, but we'll see. I mean, look at this. This shit has just been insanely crazy on this crazy run. But man, the short is gonna be so bad. Look how far it is extended from the simple 50 moving average. Remember, every stock at some point will find its way back to the simple 50 moving average. Like last time it had a run, it got up to 7, and then it tanked. It got all the way to the, you know, all the way. It found its support at $3. You know, and then here it touched the simple 50. So I don't know what's gonna happen with this stock. You know, you gotta be careful if you trade this because every time it craps, it just gaps. So you know, look to see how it's gonna react to this 947 level and 970 level, which is the high. I don't know what it's gonna do tomorrow, to be quite honest with you. I would think that it's ready to have a big wash, but it just keeps moving. So what I would like to see tomorrow is if it goes red, you know, obviously you could short risking the previous day's close price or risk off this 921 level where there's some, you know, key consolidation here. If it holds it, you can go long risking off 921 and then look for a price target at 947 or 970 level if it holds, you know, keeps running. But if it goes red, you know, at the open, I mean, you could risk off the previous day's close price, which would be 919 or this 921 level, and then just look down below. You know, there is support in this 882 level, but it's just been crazy. I mean, where the real key support is this 865, in my opinion. Down here, you know, there's a lot of consolidation here. This obviously it bounced right here at this 808 level, so you gotta watch how it reacts there, and then 788. If it can't hold 808 and 788, I think then it's probably gonna really finally tank. But look to see how it reacts to those key levels, because these are the 2 levels where it actually bounced and continued up the last couple of times it tanked. You know, so be mindful of that. I put 865 here, but I really, when it tanked here, it held, what is this, 859. So I'm gonna put 859. Let's do this. Now, if it holds those levels, those could potentially be dip buys again. You know, maybe it tanks at the open and finds its support here at this 859 level and runs again. I mean, who knows? So these are the key levels that I would be looking for to potentially either buy or short. All right, so hope that makes sense. Next up, PF. PF, I put this on my watch list because, let's see. Yeah, because this is a stock that, look at this, has this gap to fill, $55. And, you know, it gapped up to 62, kind of held 58, and then ripped to 61, kind of consolidated, found the support here at 59, and then, you know, couldn't hold break above 60.75. Now it's tanking out. What I would love to see is I'm really looking at one key level here, 58.74. If it can't hold this shit is going back all the way to $55. So why wouldn't you look to short it at that level? You know? Even if it spiked and held 60, it couldn't hold 67. You could short risk in that level. I'm not looking to go long on this stock. I would just be looking to short it, risking off one of these levels. You know, so look at this. You know, if it spikes and holds 60.75, short off that red level. Or then if it can't hold 59.76, short off that level, and then 58.74. That's where, once it breaks this, it's a massive tank. That may not happen tomorrow. That may happen some point during the week or next week. But you know what? That's what I'm really looking at. And these are the easiest money plays that you can find, you know. Short breakdown. Sorry. 58.74. I mean, that is like a gimme. You know, how can you resist that? That's so simple, you know. And if I pull up the year chart real quick, you know, every time it has these gap ups, look at that, gap downs, you know. So, you know, it has gap up, gap downs, gap up, gap downs. Look at this. So, you know, you know, over the last year, this stock is not even a year old actually. But yeah, I expected to fill this gap. So, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, tomorrow, man, if it breaks, this will be a fantastic, simple, no stress short. So that's why it's on the watch list. Last but not least, SRCI. SRCI is interesting as well. You put up the yearly chart because, you know, it's had this crazy run, right? From 8 to, you know, small, but, you know, had, you know, what is 9, 10 green days. What's interesting about the stock is, let's go back a little further. It has so much overhead resistance here at this like $11 level. So I would love to see it, if it breaks above 11, to see this 1132 and 1160 level. Like, I don't think it's going to get up there, but if you can't hold those levels, such a simple short. I mean, why wouldn't you take a short off that, risking one of those levels? It's so easy, you know. It's just been on this nice run. So, you know, it's holding 1094. I would love to see it, you know, kind of like tap this 1098 or break above it and then not hold it and then have the big red day, you know, because this is due for a big red day. So I'm hoping that's tomorrow, you know. Just keep an eye out and see how it reacts tomorrow to $11, 1098 and then 1132 if it breaks above it. So that's what I'm looking on my watch list. Obviously, guys, Bitcoin and weed stocks, I didn't put any on my watch list, but with all the hype that the government wants to legalize weed, you know, look at all the weed stocks tomorrow. Put them on, you know, you can create a separate watch list called weed stocks and just see how they react tomorrow at the open. And Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's moving tomorrow, look at all the Bitcoin stocks, potentially run tomorrow as well. All right, folks. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope you like this. Like, watch, subscribe, and share. My Twitter, watchotrade. YouTube, watchotrade. And I got an Instagram now, watchotrade. I'll try to remember to be more active on that. All right. So have a great weekend, guys.